Hello, Taurus. Welcome. Welcome to July. Let's see what comes through. Ooh, Knight of Swords reversed. Okay. Are you dealing with a Knight of Swords reversed? Someone that is, I don't know, like all over the place, not making a lot of sense. Their words are not necessarily matching their actions. They seem to be hard to pin down. This can be really, really hard for an earth energy to deal with because it's just like, it's so not practical. And while there may be communication, it's like, well, is it the right communication? And are the right words being said? And are they really hearing the words? Am I really hearing the words? So there's a lot of like confusion around this energy, this person. It could be you. Some of you may be dealing with a Taurus who's like totally freaking out, but usually I don't see this as a Taurus energy at all. It's more, first of all, this is a card of Gemini or Aquarius or Libra. Could also be Aries. I often see this as being very Aries-like as well. But there's a lot of attack mode going on with very little substance behind it. So before you come to a conclusion about what this person is doing, make sure that you just let the whole thing pan out. Don't make any judgments. Don't project anything onto them because they're likely projecting a lot onto you. And, you know, it's just kind of shitty. It's not a good time to get offended. It's not a good time to get your feelings hurt, even though we really want to get our feelings hurt. I just don't know that you can take the Knight of Swords seriously, and therefore you shouldn't take it personally. Six of Coins reversed. I think this person or situation is demanding a lot of your time and your energy. And maybe they're not actually saying it like, give me your time, but I think for whatever reason, there's a knot in my stomach. Actually, as I'm talking about this, there's a little knot in my stomach. Does this person give you a knot in your stomach? Do they make you nervous? Is there a lot of confusion about feelings and emotions here? Is this a situation you're avoiding? And the more and more you avoid it, the more and more you try to push it away or to try to be patient with it, it's almost as though the more energy it takes. If there's something that needs to be addressed, please address it. As best of your ability, please address it, because otherwise you're just going to eat yourself alive and just feel like, like such a drain. This energy can definitely be a drain for Taurus. Taurus has to be careful because you have a lot of resources, and you do have a lot of stuff that people want, that people need. And I don't want to see them taking advantage of the position that you have, that you're at. There's going to be a very, very clear distinction between who is the one of resources and who are the beggar. Like, who's the beggar? Who's the one asking, who's the one giving? There's going to be a very clear distinction there. Taurus, if you don't want to give, you're going to have to communicate that very clearly. They need to actually hear the words. There's no room for passive-aggressive anything right now. And you do need to be in tune with what's going on and what's happening much deeper, because a lot of the stuff that's happening on the surface is merely symptomatic of something much deeper. This person may be dealing, again, it's Cancer season. We have all the stuff happening. We're all going through it. So that's why you just can't take this person seriously, because it's like, all right, well, this is going to settle, and they're probably dealing with some childhood issues, or they have some failure that they're trying to like overcompensate for, or like there's something back there, right? So it's a matter of being able to see through the transparent mask that they seem to be wearing to really get to the crux of the matter. Don't jump to conclusions, don't jump to assumptions, because you're not operating with all the information. That's what's important for us to all realize, is that this is just kind of like the first thing of the first layers are kind of getting peeled back, and we're discovering a lot about ourselves big time right now, and we're discovering a lot about our patterns and our behaviors and all of that. But there's a lot to be said about just like our own personal process versus our process as we interact with other people. The Eight of Swords is an energy of feeling suffocated, feeling trapped. This is a very suffocating energy. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to deal with it. You don't want to get taken advantage of. And yet you also are kind of paralyzed to act because you just simply don't know what to do. That's okay. I think Taurus, the Uranus in your sign is getting agitated. So you're wanting to do something, right? Because we've got Mars creeping up there, right? It's Mars Uranus square. So it's definitely starting to feel like, oh, it's got to do something. But the more patient you can be, the better everything is going to go. You can exhibit everyone else, you can witness everyone else freaking out. But for you and your own feel goods, make sure you are feeling good, stand still. Stand still and watch everyone else do their stuff. A lot of information will come out in the next couple of weeks for sure. People showing their true colors, people showing what they really want. And to be the observer and all of that is a very powerful position to be in. That's what I was saying last month, right? You're kind of like the philosopher, and also with Aries 12th house, the guru. So that's what a philosopher, that's what a guru would do, would just sit back and analyze the shakeup, analyze the drama, and just watch people's fake facades just kind of come crumbling down. All the while you're remaining humble and not puffing up your chest the way I've been saying all month with all the signs. You're not puffing up your chest. There's no arrogance from Taurus here at all. If you are dealing with an arrogant Taurus, they're probably kicking in with this energy. So look out. Here's communication. I don't see a blockage for you guys in that regard. I don't necessarily see it being a problem. Everyone is getting page energy. Keep it light. Keep it simple. Keep it what it needs to be, okay? Just say just enough, You don't have to give away the whole story. You don't need to unload on people. If there's an apology that you owe someone, please, by all means, go for it. If someone owes you an apology and you're not getting it, don't worry about it. I think Taurus's energy is best used or directed toward productive things, toward your career stuff, your goals, your ambitions, your finances, your savings, your house. You want a new house, you want a new car, your material goals. Because I think right now relying upon certain people, not all people, but certain people, it's just not realistic. So you just got to tap into that perfect Taurus self-reliance and just kind of do it yourself right now. Keep the lines open though, because I think the shifts are going to be big enough that you're going to want to keep those doors open. I don't see anyone leaving. Okay, I don't see anyone walking away so far. I don't see anything coming to a major close or a major end for you guys. Here you are. This is definitely you. That's why I was saying you guys are the ones in the position of resources, right? So when you have someone desperate trying to get to an empress who has a lot of stuff to give, you got to kind of keep your guard up. You don't have to be completely blocked and walled off, but keep your guard up. Stay skeptical. If you are feeling feelings of doubt, pay attention to the feelings of doubt because it's saying so much to you. And you do have a lot to protect. You've worked so hard. You've achieved so much. You've done so much. You've made it all this way. And it's not fair for someone else to try to think that they're entitled to that. They can't just come in. They can't just come take it. And Taurus, right, I think maybe there's been a major power flip. Maybe this isn't even something like recent, this person. Maybe this is someone from like a really long time ago. And maybe the roles were reversed where you were the one that was so like, oh my God, Knight of Swords, I really want to be with you. I really want this to work. Let's go about doing this thing. And maybe it didn't work out, and now they're like, oh my God, like I can't believe I messed it up the first time. I can't mess it up the second time. But yet they're still kind of messing it up by the way that they're approaching. Like this approach toward an Empress is like super not cool. There's no respect here, no respect for boundaries, no respect for personal space, even maybe for some of you. Maybe that's why you're kind of putting this up, like, stay away from me, give me my 3 feet of personal space. There's something really like, stay away. Like, we can talk, we can work it out, but stay away too. Like, you definitely have this protective barrier around you. And I think this person can really sense it, and that might even be making them even more desperate. Might be making them more desperate. That's a little bit tricky. People getting desperate nowadays, making mistakes, saying all the things. And it's symptomatic of unexamined souls, I think this Knight of Swords is highly unexamined. They just really don't know a lot. They don't know as much as you know. Your spiritual journey, they don't know as much as you know. Okay, you find yourself back here. Same feelings come up, the same thoughts come up, the same desires come up. I'm wondering if some of you are, the word desire kind of like popped at me when I said it. I think some of you might be fixating on the feeling of desire. Because like I said, it's not that anyone's going away. Like there's no movement here so far. There's definitely desire. Them towards you, and likely you toward them. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but if it wasn't you towards them, then this would be over. Then I'd see all these cards of like people walking away and like the Tower or whatever. Not to say those cards couldn't still come out, so maybe the story will change. But I don't know. There's something connecting you. But you're looking at the desire, and you're like, I felt this before. Right? Because this is my card that always signifies like repeated patterns. I've felt this way before. I've thought these things before. Like I've been here before. And you do want to do it differently. But maybe you're hoping that it will still work out. Like maybe the different thing isn't that you leave because maybe you left last time. There's a quality of being estranged. Mercury retrograde always brings back the exes, right? So maybe that's what it is. Or it brings back those old business ideas or those old business partners. Like you reconnect with your coworkers or whatever. Like it's weird. I think this whole situation is weird, and you're kind of like, where the hell is this coming from? Like, why is this happening right now? Why is this person saying this? Why are they doing this? But you still feel something. It's affecting you. So you want it to go differently, but maybe you left last time and it like still like it's not, like it wasn't different enough. Like leaving wasn't the different thing. Does that make sense? There's something else you haven't tried. I don't know what it is, but there's something else you haven't tried. You can't seem to shake it, can you? You like can't shake it. You can't get rid of it. You can't not feel it. You can't not think it. And yet it's like the same. But you have the power this time. So now you're the one that gets to determine how this really goes. Very interesting story. Something shady. I think you're picking up a vibe on this person and you're kind of like, I don't know, is this person lying to me? like I said, be real careful about the conversation or the conclusions and the assumptions. Some of you are afraid you might sabotage something. Like some of you are afraid, because at this point, when I talk about a repeated pattern, if you were to just leave and cut it off for good, and you did it again, that would just be the repeat. That itself would be the repeated pattern. And clearly that didn't work. So there's some other like option that you're not really considering. And I think I'm wondering if like you need to take the next couple of weeks to figure it out. This person may end up making all the decisions for you anyway. And they may like come in real fast and do the love bomb thing or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're like, peace, I'm out. So they're more like too skittish here, but your stability is really like your saving grace. You're the one thing that you know you can rely upon. So like rely upon yourself, rely upon your intuition. Because if you're feeling off about something, if you feel like they're lying, chances are they're probably lying. But if you feel like you're self-sabotaging something by simply walking away, like, because maybe there really is something here, right? There's Page of Cups. I mean, this is kind of something to work with. So, I mean, it's all very unclear. My guess is you have no idea how to feel about this situation. You're just kind of at a loss, which is why the recommendation is just don't do anything. You don't want to self-sabotage, but you also don't want to get taken advantage of. You're entertaining, you're listening, but you're not really indulging. It's a very delicate, I called the Aries reading the dancing with the stars, because that's kind of what you're doing. You're like putting it out there a little bit and then seeing what comes back, putting it out there and then seeing what comes back. So there's no grand gesture of any kind. It's just action and response, and the analysis of that action and response. The Emperor reversed. So this is right under the Empress, which tells me that's actually a part of you. I always see these two cards, like whenever there's a, court cards situated like this, it's like this is kind of what you're putting out on the front side and what you're displaying to the world, and this is what's going on underneath. Maybe some of you are super pissed that this situation is coming back around, and you might even be super pissed at yourself that you still don't know what to do about this. Or maybe you're super pissed that you still kind of have a little bit of hope, or you're super pissed that you're finding yourself back here again. I think some of you really, really, really thought this pattern was completely done. So it's annoying. I think you're annoyed. I think you're angry. I think you're annoyed. Not in a loud way, but there's just this part of you that's like, oh, really? Really? Come on, universe. I thought I was past this. Why are you throwing this at me now? And the Emperor reverse can be a match for a Knight of Swords reverse, let me tell you. I don't think this Knight of Swords sees what is underneath the surface. They can't see it. So this is why you need to be careful, why you need to be composed, why you need to be really controlled. Because if you unleash this Emperor reverse over the Knight of Swords, then it's definitely over, because the Emperor is going to win. And it can be real harsh. And this is not, this whole desperate ego thing, this is coming from something really, really deep, and something that this person has no idea what it is. But if you're sitting in a place where you know what it is, that gives you, again, even that much more power. So to use their own weakness against them, to really hurt them, you have the potential to really, really hurt them. And I don't think you want to wield that power. I don't think you really do. I don't think that's what this month is all going to be about. But you need to know you're sitting with that. You're sitting on fire, right? Or a bomb, like you really are. You're sitting on a bomb. So the awareness of the fact that you're sitting on a bomb is important. Some of you could be dealing with multiple people too. There could be one major important relationship in your life that's kind of like being stressed by the astrological environment, and then all of a sudden this like gnat comes buzzing, and this person is like, what are you doing? Why are you calling me? Why are you texting me? You know, like, get the hell out of here. I'm so over it. And then your focus goes toward the Emperor. We'll clarify that because some of you may be dealing with multiple people. Another page level communication, right? Keep it open, keep it light, keep it, fluid. Stay curious about what this could go. I think stay curious about what this person's going to do. Stay curious about what they're going to say. I wouldn't make major moves. I wouldn't sleep with anybody right away. I wouldn't I wouldn't give too much too fast. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and put the camera down. Take a look. Let me switch this over. Okay, here we go. Let's pull from the other deck here. Four of Coins. And Five of Wands. So Five of Swords, Five of Wands, Seven of Swords. This is often a card of like strife, it's a card of struggle, arguing, but it's real petty. It is, it's real petty. And that's the time, like when you find yourself in like the petty situation, that's the time when you need to be hyper conscious of this Emperor, this like ticking time bomb that you're sitting on that's going to go to the core of this like I said, you have the power to really hurt that person, and they may try to push you to that limit, but I think you'll be much happier if you don't do that. Okay, Four of Coins, right? This is, I kind of like the imagery on this card. It's like a greedy Wall Street pig kind of energy. Honestly, that's what I was saying with the Six of Coins. It's real critical. You realize how much you really have and how much power you really have, because you're going to see that this person is like, what they want from you, you have to be real selfish about protecting it. You have to be greedy about protecting it, because it's just too volatile right now, and you just simply don't know how this is all going to end up. And it's going to be different for all of you. Like, we'll try to get more information with the clarifiers, but I mean, every single person is going to have a different way this goes, obviously. But the best thing is to be greedy with your resources, your love, your energy, your time, okay? All those things. Put yourself first. Okay, surrender to the divine. Full moon. Well, that's very applicable given the full moon eclipse. We're in waxing mode right now. The moon is waxing, getting bigger and bigger. So the bigger and bigger it gets, the more and more you're going to need to surrender. That's why, I mean, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's really, really, really hard, because the need or the desire for just a human being to like take the reins and say, no, I'm going to control this outcome, especially when you know that you have so much power here with the whole thing, to try to like really control the outcome. If you try to do that, you're not going to get what you want. And you might, and then you'll be sorry that you did. So surrender. And do one more from my oracle deck here. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Well, I think this is a perfect time for you to reach out to your guides. This is like aside from the whole thing, because this scenario is a perfect learning experience. Am I right? Like, this is like the training ground right here. And to recognize that you're in like the battle, well, maybe, no, like not the training ground, the battlefield, right? To recognize that you're in the battlefield is to also to recognize that you're here for a purpose to learn and grow. So to keep remembering that you're here for learning, you're here for growth, you're here for, increasing your consciousness and all of that, to reach out and to reach to the higher vibrational entities around you, gives you comfort, helps to take you away from the situation, even if you're like neck deep. It takes you away, and sometimes that separation is really needed just to be able to breathe and to have that higher level perspective in order to deal with the whole thing. Alrighty, so let's continue. So these are the cards for the comprehensive. If you want to join me, that link will be in the description box, but I'll pull them out so you can see what we'll talk about. We'll talk for another 20 to 25 minutes approximately in the other video. So let's go ahead and see about this Knight of Swords. Okay. Feeling real heavy. The Knight of Swords. Real heavy. Oh, two more. Oh, okay. Interesting. So there's the Emperor connection here. So I'm going to speak to this in the comprehensive a little bit more as though this is the same person too. So it's like a part of you, but it's also a part of them. So there's the connection there. So we're getting cards of Aries and Scorpio and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Page of Swords again. If you're going to give anything, give time, right? That's probably going to be the best thing for you. I think you have a lot of things happening, like quote unquote, in the meantime. While this is all going on, in the meantime, Taurus is quite busy. Oh, Four of Coins reversed. The tendency to fantasize, Eight of Swords, to clarify the Eight of Swords. The tendency for Taurus to like fantasize about the fairy tale ending here is actually quite strong, which is not something that Taurus, I think, normally does. So be careful of the fantasies. You can think positive. You can certainly stay open-minded and be optimistic. Sure, you can definitely do that, but keep it practical. What I'm seeing here, Five of Wands again, so that's a repeated. This is the ricochet. This is what I'm talking about, like the coming in and like creating this whole disturbance and then not eliciting the proper, like not getting the response that they were hoping for from you. And then boom, they ricochet. It's kind of what I think this is. For a lot of you, they're going to come in and leave real quick. Seven of Swords. Ooh. Yeah, I know you've been here before. It's so hard when you genuinely thought you were like so over it. That's when it's the hardest. Sometimes it's like, well, how many times do I have to prove it, you know? A lot of pages. Interesting. Okay. I love the King of Coins for the Taurus reading. That's excellent. Great. Taurus, if you hang on to what's yours and be greedy with yours, it's very likely that you'll get what you want from the situation. It's not about manipulating anything, right? It's just about respect. One for the... Oh, hold on, that's too many. Do one for the Moon card. Surrender. Yeah, and one for this. And okay, yeah. Ooh, bottom of the deck, the Hermit. Hermit has not been showing up a lot this month. Has not been showing up that much. So that's an interesting card to get. Okay, so this is where we'll pick up. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have an excellent weekend, and I wish you nothing but the best. See you next month. Take care.